Hello, welcome to yet another session of engineering mechanics. In this subject, we are dealing with the topic of moment of inertia. In this series, I have done 5 videos earlier. Now, it is the 6th in the series. So, starting from the definition of moment of inertia, we have seen what is the mass moment of inertia and moment of inertia, that theory which is extended to the plane areas. From that, we have found out the moment of inertia of a rectangular lamina using the principles of moments of areas, that is moment of area into distance will give you second moment of area, thereby area into distance square will give you the moment of inertia of a rectangle of a plane area. So here to derive the formula, we have taken a strip of depth dy at a distance of pi from the centroid, and we have found out the moment of inertia of that strip, that is area is b dy into y square is the distance from the centroid. Therefore, the moment of inertia of that particular strip is b into y square into dy. So integrating such strips throughout the area, that is several strips along this height d, then we have got I is equal to bd cube by 12. Similarly, on the other direction, we will get Iyy is equal to db cube by 12. Therefore, we say that for a rectangle Ixx, that is the moment of inertia about its x-axis in x direction is, that is moment of inertia about the centroidal axis in the x direction is bd cube by 12, and along the y direction at the centroid the moment of inertia is db cube by 12. And we have also seen what is radius of gyration, that is if the area is converted into small strip, that area into some distance where it produces the same moment of inertia as the rectangular or any lamina, then I is equal to area into k square. So k is equal to root I by a. Therefore, we can say radius of gyration is the distance where if at all the entire area is acting, that distance which produces the same moment of inertia as that of entire area. Therefore, we make I is equal to ak square. Therefore, k is equal to root I by a. If we take along the xx axis, then kxx is equal to root ixx by a, and kyy is equal to root iyy by a. These are two radii of gyration. So we have seen how to find the moment of inertia about any other axis other than the centroidal axis. So if any axis parallel to the axis at the centroid is at a distance of d, then moment of inertia about that axis will be equal to moment of inertia about the centroid plus area into the distance between the distance square of the distance between the two axes. That is, from centroidal axis, if some axis is at a distance of d, then moment of inertia about that new axis ICC will be equal to moment of inertia Ixx at the centroid plus area into distance between the centroid and the new axis, let us say d. So Ixx new ICX, that is I about some axis ICC is equal to Ixx plus AD square. Similarly, Iyy is equal to I about new axis, let us say AB. I about AB is equal to IYY plus area into distance square. That will give the, in both axes we can shift the moment of inertia to any other parallel axis. That is, we can find out, we can determine the moment of inertia at any distance, but it should be parallel from the axis, parallel from the centroidal axis. That is, either it should be parallel to x-axis or y-axis. So if we consider along the y-axis, we consider the moment of inertia about centroidal y-axis plus area into the distance between the two y-axis. That is the centroidal y-axis and the y-axis which is at a distance apart. We have seen some examples, a T section, a rectangular section where we have found out the moment of inertia at its base, and we proved that it is bh cube by 12. If ordinary Ix is bd cube by 12, then at base it will be bd cube by 3. That is an additional moment of inertia which is equivalent to AD square is added. That is AD is area into distance square. Area is BD, B into D by 2 whole square. That is BD cube by 4. An additional moment of BD cube by 4 has come up due to the moment of inertia shifting from centroid to the base. And we have seen symmetrical T section, symmetrical C section, and also unsymmetrical C section. We have also seen a problem in I section and also hollow rectangular section, and we have correlated the relation between the I section and rectangular hollow section of the same area. That is, if the web of the I is divided into two parts and made into a rectangular, hollow rectangular section, then how the relationship between the Ixx and Iyy of the rectangle and Ixx and Iyy of the I section, then we have established the relationship between them. This is what we have done up till now. Now let us take another example, another common example which they ask in examinations, that is the Z section. Let us consider a Z section. Actually it is a mirror image of a Z section, because if we take mm, the units are, the digits are, the values are very large. We are getting in terms of 1 crore, above crores, in terms of crores and lakhs. So that is why now, for the sake of understanding and ease of understanding the values, so I have taken the centimeters units, because we can reduce the big values. That is, instead of crores we get in some lakhs. So our idea is to understand the problem and how to solve the problem, not the whether it is 100 into 100 or 10 into 10, it doesn't matter much. Only thing is we should be able to solve the problem. We should know how to solve the problem. So that is why, to make the digits less, I have taken now 30 into 2. Yeah. Actually I wanted to take still more lesser values, but it is not possible. So let us not think about centimeters or millimeters. Let us think that there are some linear units, 20 units this way and 2 units in the other direction. That is some linear units. For the time being, let us assume they belong to some other linear units, because 20 mm we cannot say. 20 mm is very small Z section. That unit we cannot take. Practically it is not possible. So we have taken 20 centimeters. That is only 4 inches. 4 inches means only a little, about this width of this thing. So a Z section has web of 30 into 2 and top flange of 20 into 2 and a bottom flange of 24 into 3 centimeters. Find the moment of inertia about the centroid. So as usual, we know what are the different steps involved in finding the moment of inertia. Initially, in the first stage, we have to find out the centroid. Then only we can find out the moments of inertia about its centroidal axis. So we have the first step will be to find the centroid. Here we have divided the flange into we have divided the figure into 3 rectangles. It is (20 into 2 is the third rectangle, 30 into 2 is second rectangle, and 24 by 3 is the first rectangle. So we have found out 24 into 3, 20 into 30 and 20 into 2. These are the 3 rectangles. We have found out the centroids of them, each rectangle, and we have found the moments of areas of these rectangles about x-axis and y-axis. So finally the center of centroid will be 20.48 and 14.81. That is, centroid lies somewhere here at 20.48 and 14.81. The centroid of the entire z-axis will be at 20.48 and 14.81 centimeters. From the bottom corner, we are taking this bottom corner as the origin. So once centroids are found out, then the next step is we have to find the moments of inertia of different components about their x-axis and y-axis. Because they are simple rectangles, there is no problem in finding the moments of inertia. That is, we know Ix is BD cube by 12 and Iyy is BD cube by dB cube by 12, where B is the width and D is the depth. So for the first component, the bottom flange, the width is 24, the thickness is 3, therefore Ix1 for the first component it will be BD cube by 12, that is okay. 24 by 3. Ix of first figure is BD cube by 12, that is 24 into 3 cube by 12, that is 54 centimeter to the power of 4. Similarly, for dB cube, it is 3 into 24 cube by 12, that is equal to 4500 centimeter to the power of 4. Then for the second component, that is web, it is sizes is 30 into 2, therefore 2 is the width and 30 is the height. So BD cube by 12 is 2 into 30 cube by 12, that is 4500 centimeter to the power 4, and dB cube is 30 into 2 cube by 12, that is 30 into 8 by 12, therefore it is 20 centimeter to the power 4. Similarly, third component, the top flange, the width is 20 and depth is 2, therefore BD cube by 12 is 20 into 2 cube by 12, that is 13.33 centimeter to the power 4, and I by 3 is dB cube by 12, that is 2 into 20 cube by 12, that is 5177.55 centimeter to the power 4. So we have found out the moments of inertia of individual components about their centroid axis. So their centroids we know, but now using the parallel axis theorem, we have to shift those moments of inertia which are found out about the centroids of individual parts. We have to bring them to the centroid of the entire figure. So that is why we have to find the h1s, that is the distance between their x-axis, and d's, the distance between the y-axis. So in the next step we find the areas, we find the distances between the actual centroidal axis and the centroidal axis of the individual figures. Therefore, now but actual centroid is at 20.48 and 14.81. We have to find out the moments of inertia of the individual components at this point, that is 20.48 and 14.81. For that we have to shift those centroid those moments of areas to this point. So therefore, I about centroidal axis, Ix about centroidal axis is sigma Ixx of individual components plus area into h square, the distance between the height between the centroidal axis of the centroidal x-axis and the centroidal x-axis of the components. That is the distance between 14.81 and the x-axis, that is the y distance. When we take x-axis, the height will be in y direction. That is why we take y minus y bar. Here if you see, these are this violet lines are centroidal axis of the z, but actual x-axis is this green dotted line is the actual centroidal axis, which is at a distance of 14.81. It is at a height of 14.81. So we have to find out the distance between this 14.81 height and the first x-axis, that is h1, because the first component we have named it as h1, and here it is h3. Therefore, this h2 is distance between the centroid axis of the web and the common z-axis. Here, centroid axis of the flange and the common axis. So here we have seen the distances are from the centroidal axis to the centroidal axis of the individual components. So therefore, h1 is equal to y minus y1, that is 14.81 minus 1.5. The bottom flange thickness is 3, so half of it is 1.5. So the distance will be 14.81 minus 1.5, that is 13.31. Similarly, h2 will be the center of the centroid of the web will be at 18 centimeters minus 14.81 is, because this is 3 plus this is 30 by 2, 15. So 15 plus 3, 18 minus 14.81 is 3.19. The distance is 3.19 centimeters. Similarly, at the top flange is at distance of 30 plus 3, 33 plus 33 plus 33 minus 3 plus 30 plus it is 34. 3 plus 30, 33 plus 2 by 2 is 1. 34 minus 14.81 is 19.19 centimeters. Therefore, Ixx1 is we have found out to be of the first component it is 54, of the second component it is 4500, of the third component is 13.33. The same thing we have put in this here, that is 54, 4500 and 13.33 plus area of the first component is 24 into 3 into h1 is 13.31 we got here, and area of the second component is 2 into 30, that is web, into the distance between center of the web and center of the z axis, z section is 3.19, this is h2, similarly h3 is this. So after calculating the values we get 32,663.38 centimeter to the power of 4. This is the value of moment of inertia about x-axis of the z section, that is around about the centroid of the z section. Therefore it is 3.26 into 10 to the power of 4 centimeter 4. Similarly, now if we move on to the finding out the distances, these distances d, that is the distances between the y-axis. For the centroid it is at 20.48 and y, so it is at 20.48, but this is 24, that is the centroid lies at 12. The distance between them is 20.48 minus 12. Similarly for others also, for the second one the centroid lies at middle of the web. This distance between the actual z-axis centroid and the centroid of the web will be d2. Similarly, centroid of the flange and the centroid of the z-axis z section will be d3. So here if we see x1 minus x1, that is 20.48 minus 12 is 8.48, x minus x2 is 23 minus 20.48, that is 2.52, and d3 is x minus x3, that is 32 is x3 minus 20.48, that is 11.52. We have calculated this in this table, they are there. Here we have x, that is 12, 23 and 32. The same values we have used for finding the d. Once we know the y bar, y minus, that is x bar of the z axis, that is 20.48 minus 12, 20.48 minus 23, 20.48 minus 32 we have done. .48 minus 12, 20.23 minus 20.48 and 32 minus 20.48. 2.48, that is 11.52 for 2.52 and 4.48 are the distances. We know the areas. Areas are 24 into 3, so 24 into 3 is the first area, into distance square is 8.48. Similarly, the second area is 2 into 30 into the distance is 2.52 square. Then third area is 20 into 2. This is the flange, this is web area, this is the bottom flange area, into so we get by solving these terms, that is 72 into 8.42 whole square, 60 into 2.52 whole square, 40 into 11.52 whole square, we get 3456, 20, 1333.33, 5177.55, 381.02 and 5308.42. They, if we add them, they will be 15,676.32 centimeter to the power 4. That is, we can write as it as 1.56 into 10 to the power 4 centimeter 4. So this, the Iy value of Ix and Iy value of this Z section about its centroid are 3.26 into 10 to the power 4 and 1.56 into 10 to the power 4 centimeter to the power 4. So this is the same procedure we have followed for T section or C section or symmetrical I section, unsymmetrical I section, or any section. Simply the first stage we will find the centroid, and the second stage we, by knowing their moments of inertias and the distance between the centroid and the centroid of their individual axis, we find the distances in the horizontal distances and vertical distances, that is h and d. We know ah square and we will know ad squares simply by adding sigma ixx plus ah square, sigma iyy plus ad square. We will get these values, that is icx, I moment of inertia about centroidal x-axis is 3.26 into 10 to the power 4 centimeter 4, and about centroidal y-axis 1.56 into 10 to the power 4 centimeter 4. So this is for z-axis, z section. So you can try by changing the values of the flanges and webs, and we can do several such problems for practice. Once we get more and more practice, it will be easy to solve any kind of problem which involves all the rectangular sections, because in diploma level we are only finding the moments of inertia of the rectangular areas, that is the components which have the rectangular areas like T sections, C section, or angle section, I section, or Z section, any sections which have the rectangular components. So we will move to some other type of problem, that is the moment of inertia of built up sections. So as I said earlier, in our centroids lesson we have learnt what is a built up section. That is, again I'll give you a small idea about it, that in market, if we are constructing some steel structures or any steel structure, steel bridges or steel girders or steel beams or any such steel areas, we find only some standard sections in the market. That is, as per the Indian standards or European standards or any standards, manufacturer will make only certain specified sections, that is shapes. I sections, they have some specified shapes only. We cannot get whatever section we want. Only some templates, some sections which are like templates. Only those sections we can find in the market. If we want some other section, we have to construct our own section, that is by welding or by bolting. We can add some plates or some other components, that is by adding two C sections we can make a I section, or by adding two T sections, or by adding two channel sections, or like some such things, or putting a plate over some set of channels or above the I section. We can build new sections, those sections which are built by the individual engineer or by anyone with the help of the standard sections, are generally called as built-up sections. That is, we use standard sections and we add some more components to suit our requirement, so that the section will not be uneconomical. Suppose in your higher classes you will learn, suppose we have some bending moment. For that particular bending moment we need some section suitable to that, but according to the standard sections, either the standard sections are too small or too big. Then we have to make some intermediate section by adding some other standard sections, that is some other plates or somehow we will build our own section to suit our own requirements. Those are built-up sections. So here, two ISMC Indian Standard Medium Channel sections, that is 100 into 50 channels, are placed back to back, separated by a distance of 20 mm. That is two channels. Two I channels are two channels, that is C sections. Channels are C section. Two C sections are placed back to back. That is, let us consider this is one C channel, this is another C channel. They are placed back to back. These are back to back at a distance of 20 mm apart. So this distance is 20 mm apart. This is one standard channel, ISMC 100 into 50. This is another IS channel. This is also 100 into 50. These two channels we have put some other plate like this. So we made a new type of I section using two channels and two plates. That is what we require for our design. Now our aim is to find out the moment of inertia of this new compound section. Here if you see, I have given the names. For the plate we have two plates of 120 into 10 are placed on top and bottom. Connect the channel, find the moment of inertia. So these channels are connected by these plates, that is 120 by 10. Each plate is 120 by 10, but actually the width of the channel is only 50. The height of the channel is 100 and width is 50. The total plate distance is 120 because there is a 20 mm gap between the plates. That is, two channels put together will give 100 mm width, but there is a gap of 20 mm between them. Even then they are placed symmetrically. These channels and plates are symmetrical. Therefore the centroid lies at the sections which are symmetrically dividing these two entire built-up section. So entire length of the built-up section is 60. The height is 120. That is 120 by 120. It became like a square. The height is 120 and the width is 120. Therefore the centroid is 60 and 60. Here if you see, the centroid of the built-up section lies at xy, that is 60 and 60. So therefore the moments of inertia, we know what are the different steps. So again, once we are conversant with those steps now. So I am avoiding repeating those steps. So initially we are finding the moments of inertia. ICX is equal to sigma IXX plus sigma AH square. So there are now 4 components, that is 2 plates and 2 channels. H1, suppose if we consider this, centroid of the channel will lie on x-axis, centroid of the compound section also lie on x-axis, but centroid of these plates will be at 10/2 at the top and 10/2 at the bottom. That is, at the bottom it is 5, at the top it is 115, because total is 10 plus 100 plus 10/2. So here for the first flange it is centroid is 60 minus 5, the distance between them is 55. For top plate also it is 55, but for the webs, for the channels, channel centroid and the centroid of the entire figure, they are coinciding. Therefore the distance is 60 minus 60 and 60 minus 60. So heights for channel, because the centroids are at their the moments of inertia are at their centroids along x-axis, because they are symmetrical, and the overall figure is also symmetrical. Therefore their centroids are coinciding. Centroid of channel and centroid of the entire figure are coinciding. Therefore H2 is 0, that is one channel. H4 is the another channel. So this is how we are getting the heights of the are distances between the x-axis of the channels plates. So 2 channels they have zeros, 2 plates they have 55s. Now IXX one is, the plate is 120 into 10 cube by 12. This channel we have, it is given IXX is 192 into 10 to the power 4. So 120 into 10 cube by 12 for the plate, plus 192 into 10 to the power 4 for one channel, 192 into 10 to the power 4 for the third component, that is second channel, and at the top the flange is 120 into 10 cube by 12. These are 4 IXX we know, and we have to shift the AH squares. So area of the plate is 120 into 10, H is 55 square, this area is 1218, area of the channel, into the distance is 0 square. Similarly the third channel, that is 11218 into 0 square plus 120 into 10 into 55 square. So for channels we need not shift the moments of inertia, because the moments of inertia are about its centroidal axis. Therefore we are not shifting, we are not finding at any other new axis. For plates, the centroidal axis is a new axis. So from their centroidal axis we have to shift by 55. We have to find the distance at a distance of 55 mm. Therefore A into 55 square, AH square, 120 into 10 into 55 square, and here also 120 into 10 into 55 square. Those are the 2 plates. So there are additional moment of inertias we are getting for plates, not for the channels, because channels and overall sections are coinciding, their axes are coinciding. Therefore ICX is equal to (1111) followed by 4 zeros, that is 11.11 into 10 to the power of 6 mm4. 11.11 into 10 to the power of 6 mm4. So we go to ICY. So ICY is sigma IYY plus AD square. Now distance square. If we see along the y-axis, the plates are having their centroidal axis at 60 and 60, but the channels are having centroidal axis at 15.5 4 from the base, that is from their bases this channel is having along the y, that is x bar is at 15.4 mm. So this thickness plus something, because this is 15, somewhere it is lying here. So now for the P1, for plate it is 60 minus 60, because centroid of the plate and centroid of the entire figure are coinciding at 60 and 60. Similarly, centroid of the channel is 15.4 from its base. So since we are finding at the centroid, the distance, that gap is 20 mm. So from centroid axis to the base is 10 mm and centroidal axis is 15.4, therefore it is 25.4. The centroidal axis of the channel from the centroidal axis of the entire figure is 25.4. Similarly, the other channel is also 25.4 and D4 will be 0, that is the top plate. Here, if you find out the moments of inertia, the plates are 10 into 120 cube by 12. For the channels, it is standard given by the, it is given 26.7 into 10 to the power 4 mm4, and for another channel it is 26.7 into 10 to the power 4. For another plate, the second plate, 10 into 120 cube by 12. Areas is 120 into 10 for the plate. The distance is 0. For this channel, area is 1218 into distance is 25.4 square. You have to shift the channel from 15.4 to centroid 60. That is the actual, from the end the distance is 50 minus 15.4. 50 minus 15.4, 34.6. So 60 minus 34.6 will be this much, 25.4. So 60 minus 34.6 will give you 25.4 itself. So we will get ICY as 49,85,609.76 or 4.98 into 10 to the power of 6 mm4. So this is how we get the IYY, IXX along the centroid and IYY along the centroid. That is moment of inertia about the centroidal axis of the built-up section. Luckily, coincidentally, the built-up sections are symmetrical. Generally, built-up sections will be symmetrical generally. So here, since they are symmetrical about both axes, we have found out the centroid about the axis 60 and 60 of the compound figure. So at 60 and 60 we have the moment of inertia about x-axis as 11.11 into 10 to the power of 4 and about yy it is 4.98 into 10 to the power of 4 mm4. So in this way we are finding the moments of inertia of built-up section. So in the next class, let us see another built-up section, that is a built-up section made of constructed by using two I sections. It is similar to this problem. So once we know how to use the values, known values of built-up section, because built-up sections have we need not find the IXX and IYY of the built-up section or CGs, because they are very complex, they have very complex shape. Using the steel tables or any standard code, those values will be given. So because they are standard sections, their values are already known. These built-up sections have they have different thicknesses at different points. That is, the radius at the end and the radius at the junction, they have different. So finding out the moment of inertia at this level, for us it will be very difficult for standard built-up standard sections. That is, for standard ISMB or ISMC channels beams, Indian standard beams, they are already given. So in the problem itself, if you observe, these values of areas CXX, IXX and IYY, they are given for individual channels, because channels are standard IS sections. We have taken ISMC 100 by 50 channels, so we need not worry about the finding out the moment of inertia of these channel sections, because they are supplied, they are readily given. Only thing is, because we are putting some other plates, the section is now 2 channels and 2 plates have become new section, new built-up section. Now that is why we have to find out the moments of inertia of the section, new section, which has 2 channels and 2 plates combined together. That is the problem which we have. So for that, we know, since plates are given, we know how to find the moments of inertia of those plates. This problem can be done. Suppose 4 channel sections, only 4 channel sections are riveted somehow. Then also we can find the moment of inertia. Simple, because we know their individual moments of inertia of the components ready-made. Simply we have to find the moments of inertia by knowing their areas and the distance of their moments of inertia about their centroids, the individual components, to the entire figure. That is the problem. So once you are able to understand this problem, what we have done in this problem, so you can attempt any such problem. That is, here normally in other problems, in T sections, I sections and other sections, we know we have rectangular sections. We have found out their moments of inertia by BDQ by 12 and DBQ by 12, and we have attempted the problem. Here only the difference is, here the IXX and IYY of the components are given. They are at our disposal to be used. Already they are given, ready-made, they are with us. We have to only shift them to the new axis if at all necessary. Here in case of Y, we have shifted them to the 25.4, a distance of 25.4 mm. Here in the first case, along the x-axis, because they were symmetrical, we need not had any necessity for finding the area into distance square, because distance was 0, 0. 12, 18 was their areas and distance was 0, 0. These were of the channels. Only we have shifted the moments of inertia of plates, that is 120 into 10 were the area of the plates and 55 was the distance. So this is how we can solve the problems of built-up sections. Once again, let me explain the figure. The first part is a plate of 120 by 10. The second part is a channel whose area is given as 1218 as per the standard specifications. We know it is, because it is symmetrical, half y bar will be half, x bar is given as 15.4. here it is given x bar is 15.4. Y bar no need, because it is symmetrical section, they have not given. We know for symmetrical section it will be half, because entire height is 50, therefore it is 25, we know already. Sorry, entire height is 100, so it is 50, we know. Similarly, because their areas we know, their centroids we know, and also the moments of inertia we know, we are using for finding at the actual centroidal axis of this compound figure, which consists of 2 flanges and 2 channels, 2 cover plates and 2 channels. Therefore, the centroid is 60-60. By knowing the property of symmetry, we have found out the centroid at 60-60. And we have shifted this axis at 15.4 to 4 to this line, which is at a distance of 10 from the base. So 15.4 plus 10, we have done 25.4. That is what we got in this here for D's, the distance between the y-axis. That is, x bar lies on y-axis. That is why we are taking the distance. When we take y-axis, the distance will be in the x direction. When we take x-axis, then the distance will be in the y direction. That we have to keep in mind. So this brings us to the end of this session. In the next session, we will be seeing at another example of built-up section, and also we will see some standard moments of inertia of standard sections like circle, quadrant, semicircle and triangle. So till then, have a nice day. Hope you understood this concept, and with the help of these examples, you practice some other problems so that you can master the subject. Thank you for being with me.